Hey, deep divers, welcome back. Smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below because today we're diving deep into The View.
Ooh, The View.
Yeah, the show that former President Trump loves to hate.
Yeah, he does.
We found this article ranking the co-host based on just how much they dislike Trump.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, it's a bit of a competition over there.
Interesting.
It is.
It's fascinating how the show thrives on these strong opinions and heated debates, you know?
Right.
It kind of becomes like a microcosm of the political landscape, doesn't it? Reflecting those divisions we see across society.
Yeah.
But all kind of focused on this one really polarizing figure.
Okay, let's unpack this ranking system.
All right.
At the bottom of the Trump dislike-o-meter.
Dislike-o-meter. I love that.
Yes, they actually call it that.
Wow.
We have Sarah Haynes.
Okay.
The article describes her as a journalist who calls out Trump's actions but keeps a professional distance.
Haynes definitely criticizes Trump, but her approach is more measured. You know, like a journalist analyzing a news story.
Right.
She doesn't shy away from pointing out what she sees as his flaws, like his rhetoric about women's reproductive health or his lack of military service, which he often criticizes others for.
Yeah.
She even called him out for politicizing the suffering after Hurricane Helene.
Oh, right.
Remember that devastating hurricane that hit the Southeast?
Yes, a major disaster.
Yeah.
So Haynes calls him out, but she doesn't seem to get into those fiery emotional exchanges we often see on The View.
Exactly. She delivers these sharp critiques,
Yeah.
but it's very fact-based, almost detached. Like when she said about Trump's speeches.
Okay.
When you read the transcripts, it is some of the most unhinged and incomprehensible things I've ever heard. We cannot elect a leader that believes facts are optional and that stokes fear and hate every time he opens his mouth.
Wow.
Yeah.
She definitely doesn't hold back on her assessment of his behavior.
No, she doesn't.
But it's a different approach than some of the other hosts.
It is now moving up the dislike ladder. We have Sunny Hostin.
Okay.
She's the legal eagle of the group, a former federal prosecutor.
Right.
Who doesn't hesitate to use her legal knowledge to take jabs at Trump.
Oh, yeah. She's got that sharp wit always ready with a legal zinger.
Oh, remember when Trump claimed he knew all the hosts of The View?
Oh, yeah.
Hostin, with her perfect comedic timing, corrected him, pointing out that their only encounter was during his Manhattan hush money trial.
Right.
You know, the one where he was found guilty of those financial crimes?
Ooh, burn.
And she delivered this epic line, I have a personal legal note, Donald Trump. I want to thank you for personally telling so many lies and committing so many alleged crimes and providing us with material on a daily basis. You help us do our jobs, and I'm so appreciative.
Wow.
It was like a legal mic drop.
I could just imagine her saying it.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about using your expertise to make a point.
Exactly.
Now, this next one is interesting because she actually worked for Trump in the White House. Coming in at number 4 is Alyssa Farah Griffin.
Interesting.
This raises an important question right there.
Yeah.
How does someone go from being a Trump staffer to a vocal critic?
It's quite a journey.
Yeah.
The article dives into this, explaining how Griffin's time in the White House gave her a front row seat to Trump's behavior. She ended up resigning when it became clear that the campaign wouldn't acknowledge their loss in the 2020 election.
Wow. Taking a stand like that must have been incredibly difficult.
It was, and it came at a personal cost.
Yeah.
The article mentions how her Trump-supporting family,
Oh, wow.
including her father and stepmother, even boycotted her wedding because of her stance against him.
That's heavy stuff.
It is.
It shows how deeply divisive politics can be even within families.
Absolutely. Now let's move into the top 3.
Okay, top 3.
In third place, we have the iconic Whoopi Goldberg,
Whoopi.
known for her sharp wit and her refusal to even say Trump's name.
She just calls him that man.
Right. But there was one notable exception.
Oh.
After the jury's verdict in the hush money trial, she couldn't contain her satisfaction.
Okay.
It was like this moment of pure joy when she declared, I'm going to say something you've never ever heard me say before. Donald John Trump is a convicted felon.
I bet that was a moment.
It was.
You know, the article points out that because she's the moderator,
Right.
Whoopi sometimes has to keep things a bit calmer on the show.
Yeah.
Which might explain why she's not higher on this ranking.
Makes sense. Her role might require a certain level of neutrality, even when discussing someone she so clearly disagrees with.
All right, deep divers, we've reached the top 2.
Here we go.
And it's a tie.
A tie.
The article crowns both Ana Navarro and Joy Behar
Oh, interesting.
as the co-hosts with the most intense dislike for Trump.
Wow.
What's so interesting is how their backgrounds and life experiences
Yeah.
play into their strong opinions.
It really shows how our individual journeys shape our political views.
Right.
It's not just about agreeing or disagreeing.
Right.
It's about how we arrive at those opinions. And The View, in its own way, lets you see that process play out in real time.
Absolutely. Let's start with Ana Navarro.
Okay.
The article explains that she fled a dictatorship in Nicaragua.
Right.
Now, for those of you who might not be familiar, this means she lived in a country where one person had absolute power,
Yeah.
often oppressively so. When she sees echoes of that authoritarianism
Mm-hmm.
in Trump's behavior, her outrage is totally understandable.
It's almost visceral. Like, you can just feel how strongly she feels about it.
Yeah.
She's quoted saying, "He is insane, and he has absolutely no empathy."
Wow.
She even convinced her husband,
Really?
a former chairman of the Republican Party of Florida,
Oh, my goodness.
to vote for Kamala Harris.
Wow. Talk about putting your beliefs into action.
It is now Joy Behar's journey is a bit different.
Okay. Well,
She was actually once friendly with Trump.
wait, really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Even attending his wedding to Marla Maples.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. But their relationship totally soured after the 2016 election. Behar's been very open about her disdain for Trump's behavior and policies, even writing a book titled The Great Gas Bag about surviving his presidency.
She doesn't hold back.
Nope.
The article mentions how her anger often stems from really personal places.
Yeah.
Like when Trump said those really awful things about John McCain's military service,
Right.
Behar's anger was palpable.
It was.
She brought up her father and uncles who fought in World War II, and you could feel her deep respect
Yes.
for those who served. It was personal.
Absolutely. And she's been equally vocal against Trump's rhetoric on immigrants.
Yeah.
She's even compared his language to what Hitler used,
Wow.
expressing deep concern about the potential consequences of such divisive words.
So here we have these two women, both with incredibly strong opinions about Trump,
Yes.
but their journeys to those opinions are completely different.
They are.
It makes you think about how our own lives shape our political views in ways we might not even realize.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like The View itself, becomes this study in how personal experiences intersect with political beliefs.
Right.
And the article really emphasizes, how the show thrives on these disagreements.
Oh, yeah.
Remember all those epic clashes between co-hosts over the years?
Oh, like Rosie O'Donnell and Elizabeth Hasselbeck going at it.
Yes.
Or Meghan McCain versus, well, pretty much everyone.
Exactly.
Those were some intense TV moments.
They were. Those clashes are practically part of the show's DNA.
Right.
But what's interesting is that even with this shared dislike for Trump, the dynamic hasn't really changed.
Yeah.
If anything, it's created this new kind of tension, almost like a competition,
Right.
to see who can deliver the most scathing critique.
It's like they're all playing a game of Trump roast
Yeah.
and trying to come up with the best singers.
In a way, yes. And that's precisely what this article tacks into. It's not just about who dislikes Trump. It's about the different ways they express that dislike, the unique arguments they bring to the table.
So each host brings their own style and perspective to the conversation.
Exactly.
You've got Haynes with her journalistic approach, Hostin with her legal expertise, Griffin with her insider knowledge.
And then there's Goldberg with her sharp wit and those perfectly timed one-liners.
Right.
And of course, Navarro and Behar with their passionate, often personal outrage.
Just like a rhetorical showdown,
It is.
all fueled by this shared dislike.
Yeah, and let's not forget, this whole discussion is happening within the context of Trump's own comments about the show.
Right. He calls it stupid and says it doesn't do very well.
Right.
It's almost like he's trying to discredit their opinions before they even voice them.
Classic Trump tactic.
Yes.
Right. The critics try to make them seem irrelevant.
Right.
But here's the irony. The View remains incredibly popular.
It does.
People are tuning in week after week to hear what these women have to say.
Yeah.
Clearly, their opinions are resonating with a large audience.
And I think that's partly because their opinions feel so authentic.
Yeah.
They're not just talking points. They're deeply held beliefs rooted in personal experiences.
Right.
Like with Navarro fleeing. A dictatorship shapes your entire worldview.
It does.
When she sees what she perceives as echoes of that authoritarianism in Trump's behavior,
Yeah.
her outrage is completely understandable.
Understandable.
Comes from a very real place.
And then you have Behar, whose anger is often fueled by Trump's attacks on things she holds dear.
Right.
Her family's military service veterans, basic decency.
Right.
It's personal for her.
Yeah.
It's not just politics. It's about values, respect, things that hit close to home.
It's like The View pulls back the curtain on political punditry and shows us the human side of these conversations.
Exactly.
These women might disagree, they might clash, but they're all engaging with issues that matter deeply to them.
They are, and that's something we can all learn from.
Yeah.
Even if you don't agree with their opinions, you can appreciate the passion, the willingness to engage in these difficult conversations. It reminds us that behind all the political rhetoric, there are real people with real stories.
Right.
And those stories shape the way they see the world.
So deep divers, we made it to the end of our journey into the world of The View and their opinions on former President Trump.
Yeah, it's been quite the deep dive.
It
Have seen how those personal experiences can really shape those political views.
Yes.
How a shared dislike can manifest in so many different ways. And how even a show known for its conflict can find these new layers of disagreement.
And all this stemming from Trump's own comments about the show.
Yeah.
It's like he accidentally threw fuel on the fire by challenging them to prove just how much they don't like him.
And they did.
They did each in their own unique style.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that even in our world of, polarized politics, there's room for individual expression.
Right.
For different ways of making your point.
Well, this deep dive only scratched the surface of this article. It's packed with even more fiery quotes and insightful observations.
Definitely.
I highly encourage you to check it out for yourselves.
You should.
You'll gain a deeper understanding of these women, their motivations, and the complexities of political discourse in the age of Trump.
Plus, you get a good laugh at some of those zingers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And don't forget to like, subscribe.
Yes.
And leave us a comment below.
We love hearing from you guys.
Tell us what you think about The View, their opinions on Trump, or any other hot topic that you'd like us to deep dive into.
Until next time, deep divers.
Keep exploring.
Keep
questioning.
And keep diving deep.